morning. Today is November 18, 2024. And on Friday, we saw a nice sell-off. We were trading up here in this range. We were in balance, and we broke out of this balance area, leaving a gap all the way to 59.64 and 59.68.75, which is the RTH gap, and we were not able to put a excess to the downside, so we have a B-shaped profile, meaning that the sellers couldn't get any continuation. So we have a bearish imbalance that repairs at 58.44, which is the low of this session right here, which is the top of a gap. So we had a gap down here, then we had a gap up here. So there's some poor structure in this area that still needs to be cleaned up. So we're opening inside range and inside balance. So for today, what I'm gonna be looking for is how we treat this area, right? Do we accept inside value and inside the range, or do we try to get away from this range, right? So we just had a little bit of a sell-off, and then we bounced right at value area low. You can see it better in this TPO chart, like to the tick of value area low, and then we saw tons of buying, came back to the middle of the range, to the point of control of the overnight session. So for today, what I'm gonna be looking for is, if we break below value area low, I'm gonna be looking for the targets below and an attempt to get to that target at 58.44. And then from there, we have this low volume area and the gap fill for the election, which is down here, just where the 50 moving average is at 58.23 and a quarter. So a move down into this area could trigger some more sellers to want to fill that gap. But right now, with this buying that we just saw, I'm gonna wait a little more for more confirmation. If we're able to get back to the to value area high and then break the overnight high, then I'm gonna be looking for this single print from Friday that fill right below the October high, and then you can see that there's a little bit of volume on the spike of Friday. So looking for that area as a target, and then a move above Friday's high targets the gap fill at 59.68.75 would be the RTH gap fill. But we're gonna see likely some sellers here ahead of that, because we have this. So the first area would be 59.54, which we have this low volume area. So I'm gonna be looking for some sellers in this area. I'm gonna put this red, and then if we get above that, then fill in that gap. So this whole area would be the gap fill. Now after that, the area to monitor would be the value area from Thursday, because if we accept inside value from Thursday, then we could trigger a short squeeze and move back to the point of control at 16, and then another attempt to take the highs, because at that point this would be a look below and fail, like rejecting value down here and trigger a move back to the upper side of the range. I don't think that's gonna happen today, but keep in mind that that's a scenario that that we're likely to see within the next few days. Okay, and NQ. NQ is very similar in structure. It was a little weaker. Look how close it came to fill that election gap. But now we're bouncing, so we do have gaps to fill on both sides. So same kind of scenario. I usually look at them together and look for them to move together. If there's divergence, then I probably stay away a little bit until they start to move together, because when one is moving up, the other one's moving up, it's a little hard to trade because there's a lot of big companies that trade in both in S&P and Nasdaq, so it becomes a little harder to trade. Crude oil. I mentioned this morning that this was an area to look for support back to the 68 area. And then in this area right here, I'm looking for sellers to show up. And again, back to this whole area, the 68 to 68.40, which is where most of the volume is. So this is the magnet for the time being. And when we're in balance like this, what there is to do is look for the edges to fade back to the point of control. Those are high probability trades, like when you have this area that's such a nicely shaped distribution with a very clear point of control. Fading the edges looks great, and crude works great. Okay, gold. So gold, after tagging that 90-day point of control, it hasn't looked back. It spent some time consolidating here and then broke back above this area that I marked the other day. So now we're gonna see if this area becomes support, and then we can continue this move. And if you look at the area with most volume in the last 20 days, it's here. So until this area resolves, now we have some resistance in this area. So I'm gonna turn this off now, so this could be a little more clear. Oops. Okay, so there we go. So this is now an area we're gonna see some resistance between 2636 to 2660. If we get above 2660, then 2676 becomes the target. Other than that, I'm probably gonna see some acceptance in this area. And again, getting back below this, now support targets 2575. All right, if you didn't know about it, we are starting a challenge, and with a prop account, and the goal is to get a $3,000 payout, and then we're gonna donate that to charity. And the way we're gonna do it is that we're gonna take day trade ideas, risking no more than $500, trades that are 1-to-1 risk reward. So if you have any ideas for a trade, just post them in the chat, and we'll pick the best one, and we'll use this as a education opportunity. And then we'll see how quickly or how slowly we get there. The idea is to get there. Doesn't matter how quickly or how slow, but let's make it happen. And I have the account ready. I'm just waiting for ideas, and then we'll talk about them and we'll set it down. I'll keep keep track of the account, and I'll post the balance and how we're doing so far. You can see it right here. The account is 150k. I haven't taken any trades yet, and we are going to see how well we do. All right, good luck.